name's Mike Burnson. I'm your neighbor from just a few blocks away on Jenny Lane. And I'm here tonight to preserve a prosperous future for my children, Sophia and Cole, the loves of my life. I'm 28 years old, and my generation will likely be the first generation less wealthy than our parents. I'm afraid this will become a trend if we the people continue to allow the unprincipled and unethical to determine our futures. To be honest, 4 years ago I wasn't interested in the political process. I was more interested in being entertained like much of our youth. It wasn't until 2008 bailouts that I realized there was something terribly wrong and immediate attention was necessary. We have drifted dangerously far from the principles of our founding fathers, the principles of limited federal government shackled by the enumerated powers of the Constitution and our Bill of Rights. I'm here to support Ron Paul, an Air Force veteran, an OBGYN by trade who's delivered over 4,000 babies. He has an unparalleled respect for human life. As a family man that has been married to his high school sweetheart for over 50 years, Ron Paul is principled, honest, and has unwavering consistency in upholding the Constitution. Some have called him the champion of the Constitution. I would like to address what I consider to be the two biggest misconceptions about Ron Paul. First, that he's soft on foreign policy, and second, that he's unelectable. My response to these misconceptions is that Ron Paul has the strongest plan for our military, and he has the best chance of defeating Barack Obama in the general election. Here's why. We currently have 900 military bases in over 130 countries. Since 2001, our defense budget has increased by 81%, and we've added nearly $4 trillion to the national debt by fighting congressionally undeclared and unconstitutional wars. Reasons for beginning the war in Iraq have been found inaccurate, and no WMDs were found. And in return, we have lost over 6,000 of our bravest Americans in battle. With nearly 1/3 of our federal budget going to defense spending, a correlation between our abysmal economy and the misguided foreign policy is evident and can no longer be ignored. The intention of the military is to keep the American citizens safe. However, with the floundering economy and our troops spread thin, I'm not sure we've ever been less secure. Perhaps it is time we start protecting our borders, one of which connects to one of the most unsustainable countries, second only to Pakistan, instead of protecting the borders between Afghanistan and Iraq. While it was good to honor our veterans on Veterans Day and good to show our support by putting yellow ribbon stickers on our cars, we also need to listen to our veterans, active duty military, the people on the battleground risking death and dismemberment have donated more money to Ron Paul than all the other GOP candidates combined. Should we listen to the bureaucrats in Washington with no skin in the game, or the men and women risking their lives in combat? The reason our active duty military supports Ron Paul over the GOP candidates is because Ron Paul understands that when America is under attack, we need to go to war with congressional approval and use overwhelming force to end it quickly, therefore avoiding unnecessary casualties and eventual bankruptcy, which we may face in the near future. In regards to Iran, Ron Paul does not want them to have a nuclear weapon, but we mustn't overreact as we did in Iraq. A war with Iran and potentially its allies, China and Russia, could very well be the death nail in the great American experiment, the experiment of unfettered liberty. We must not overreact and drive our economy further into the ground. If our situation with Iran meets the conditions of the doctrine of just war, a doctrine formerly used by our military, then we will attack hard and fast with congressional approval and with the defined missions and defined end dates. This is the foreign policy Ron Paul stands by. The question should also be asked, should we really be giving Israel $3 billion annually while also giving Islamic governments over $30 billion? How is that possibly intelligent foreign policy? Ron Paul now on to electability. Ron Paul significantly outclasses Obama in any economic or foreign policy debate. How can Obama possibly justify expanding the bailouts, the wars, the police state here at home, while promising the opposite? Ron Paul is the only principled candidate that can attack Obama on these issues due to his lack of flip-flopping in these extremely important topics. Ron Paul wins the issue of war and foreign policy for the anti-war liberals, the independents, the libertarians, and constitutional conservatives. Ron Paul wins the domestic police state issues we face before the debate even begins, especially in light of the recent Obama approval of NDAA. Ron Paul wins on the abortion issue because he believes life comes from conception. but also understands the enumerated powers of the Constitution, and that abortion is an issue for the states to decide. Unless the Constitution is amended. Done? I'll wrap it up. Ron Paul, in my eyes, wins on everything. So please, vote for liberty, vote for the protection of our civil liberties, vote for someone that actually has a plan to fix our economy, vote for the champion of the Constitution. Please vote for Ron Paul.